Namaskar everybody. This is Dr. Sunil Dutt, working as an assistant professor of physics at Department of Science and Technology of Faculty of Education and Methodology at Jayoti Vidyapeeth Women's University, Jaipur. So, topic for my this presentation is electric field, which will be then followed by the Gauss's theorem, and uh, first, in order to understand the ecosystem, there are certain definitions which we should know, which are like the what is electric field, what are called the electric field lines, what is the nature of electric field lines, and then we will move to the definition of uniform electric field, followed by electric dipole and some other topics. Okay, so this course is a part of elementary physics course of BTech. First, uh, we will discuss what is electric field. So, as you know that electric field is defined as the electric force per unit charge. Electric force per unit charge, electric force we know from the Coulomb's law formula. We know the amount of charge which is being experienced. So if we can calculate uh, the electric force for an amount of charge, and if we divide that force by the multiplication of those charge, so we will get a value, and that value will be called as the electric field. So if we talk in physics terms, so we call electric field as the electric force per unit charge, and mathematically we can calculate this by this theory. Okay, so the direction of the field is taken to be the direction of the force. So it would exert on a positive test charge. Okay, so if there will be a positive charge and we put a positive test charge at some distance, so as we have presumed already that same charges repel each other. So this charge, if it is positive, it will repel the positive point charge, and if this charge is negative, then this will attract the point charge. Okay, so if we take this assumption to our electric field concept, then we can say that the electric field lines from a positive charge are going outwards, and for a negative charge the electric field lines are coming inwards. Okay, so this is the concept of the electric field. So this electric field produced by a charge q at a point r, er is equal to q upon 4 pi epsilon naught r square into capital the unit vector r. Okay. This we take as equation number 1. And we know the force exerted by a charge q on a capital charge q on a charge which we have denoted here as small q. Then the force between these two charges means we can say the force between the charge of amount capital Q and the charge of amount small q will be equal to F will be equal to 1 upon 4 pi epsilon naught capital Q into small q upon r square times the unit vector r cap. Okay. So this will be our equation number 2. So from equation 1 and equation 2, we can observe that the force which we have denoted as F, which is a function of R, can be given as small q times E into E, which is a function of R. Or we can simply write this as E is equal to F upon Q. So from here, if we want to calculate the unit of electric field, so the SI unit will be Newton per Coulomb, because the unit of force is Newton and the unit of charge Q is Coulomb. Or in another system, or in another terminology, we can also write electric field as in terms of volt per meter. And if you want to calculate its dimensional formula, it will be equal to ml t the power minus 3 a to the power minus 1. So in addition to electric field, we should also know what are the electric field lines. So an electric field line is an imaginary straight or curved path followed by a unit positive test charge when it is left free in an electric field. So this I have discussed a few moments back. Okay. So this you are clear about this, and if you want to see its pictorial representation, then you can refer to the e-notes which are uploaded on the website. So as I told you earlier, for a point charge, the electric field lines are represented as the arrows going outwards from the point charge, and for a negative point charge, we can observe that the electric field lines are coming towards the center of the charge. Okay, but if there is a combination of positive and negative charge, means at a point we have some positive charge, and at a distance from this positive charge we have another charge which is negative in nature, then the electric field lines will go from positive charge and will merge into the negative charge. Okay, and the electric field lines which will be on the extreme right of positive charge and extreme left of negative point charge, this will tend to follow a curvature. So this is the nature of the electric field lines. Okay. So after this, we just define the uniform electric field. So what is uniform electric field? So an electric field is said to be uniform in a certain region of space if the magnitude and direction of the electric field remains the same at all points in that region. Okay. So if we put basically two same amount of charges, exactly same amount of charges at exactly the same difference. Okay, so if the two system of charges, or the two arrangement of charges which are exactly parallel to each other, then the electric field lines will be of same magnitude and in the same direction. So these type of electric fields are called uniform electric field. Okay. So if someone asks you about the electric dipole, so basically the electric dipole is a pair of two equal and opposite charges separated by a distance. Uh, if for the example, we can take it as 2a, and this arrangement is called as an electric dipole. So if you want to calculate the electric dipole moment of a system of two charges which are opposite in nature, then it characteristics an electric dipole, and it in its magnitude is given by the product of the magnitude of one charge and the distance between the two charges. So if we assume the distance between the two charges is 2a, and since the charges are of same magnitude but opposite sign or the opposite character, then we take only one of them, which is denoted here by a small q. So the electric dipole moment vector p will be given by q into 2a. So from the formula we can see that it is a vector quantity, because 2a is length and it is vector, and the SI unit is coulomb into meter, because the unit of charge q is coulomb and the unit of length is meter. So we can read it as coulomb meter. So after this comes the concept of electric flux. What is electric flux? So electric flux of the electric field through a substance is defined as the total number of electric field lines, okay, passing perpendicularly through the surface. So electric flux is defined as the number of electric field lines which are uh, passing perpendicularly through the surface. Okay. So the electric field in mathematical terms is represented by phi with a suffix capital E. So we can write this phi E as the multiplication of E times ds. E means vector E dot vector ds, the electric field enclosed within a surface element. Here E represents the electric field and ds is the surface element. Or if we write the dot product in normal terms, we can write phi E is equal to E ds cos theta. So this is the mathematical expression for electric flux. So as you can see, it is a dot product. So vector electric flux is a scalar quantity, and its SI unit is Newton meter square per coulomb or volt meter. And its dimensional formula is given by ml to the power 3 t to the power minus 3 a minus 1. For a closed surface, the if we take the integration over the whole surface phi, so then the phi, which is stands here for the electric flux, will be equal to the closed integration over the surface vector E dot vector ds. So after this, we come to our main topic, which is Gauss's theorem. So the Gauss's theorem states that the net electric flux through a closed surface is 1 upon epsilon naught times the net charge enclosed within the surface. Okay. So mathematically, we can write that phi is equal to closed integral or the surface integral over vector E dot vector ds, and this becomes equal to the total charge enclosed by the surface is q upon epsilon naught. So this law is true for any closed surface of any shape or size. Okay. So if you want to get the proof for Gauss's theorem or the Gauss's mathematical formula, we can see that let us consider a small surface element of area ds. Okay, so then the small amount of electric flux, which we have denoted here as d times phi e, will be equal to vector E dot vector ds. So for dot product, we know this is equal to EDS cos 0. So since the surface element ds and the direction of electric field is in the same direction, so the angle between these two vectors will be equal to 0. Or we can say that the value of cos 0 is 1. So we can write d phi e is equal to E ds. So since the surface is made of a large number of such small elements, flux through the entire surface phi e can be given as phi e ds, or E times over the surface integral over ds. So the surface integral over ds can be will be equal to, if we open the surface integral, so ds will equal to the s, which we can represent, and its limit will be equal to limit 0 to uh, 4 pi. Okay, so S will be equal to the R square. So it will be equal to E into 4 pi R square. And from the definition, we know the value of electric flux, that is capital E. This will be electric field, sorry, electric field E will be equal to 1 upon 4 pi epsilon naught Q upon R square. And the value of the surface integral is equal to 4 pi R square. So we can cancel 4 pi and R square with each other. Then the remaining part will be only the phi e, which will be equal to q times epsilon naught. So here q is the charge enclosed by the surface and epsilon naught is the permittivity of free space. Okay. So if the element is placed in some dielectric medium, then uh, this permittivity of free space will be multiplied by the dielectric constant, or you can directly replace the value of permittivity of that medium in the expression.